Okay, here we go. This one is a touchy one. Uh, I may not make it public, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. There's nothing. I don't have anything to be ashamed of. I feel I wasn't completely right in everything as usual, but I wasn't wrong either, and I'll give my views of it. I come out here to Monroe, I don't know, 45 years or so ago, getting close to 50. And I bought this place. We live in the land of the free, but we're governed. Oh my God, are we governed? Over-governed. I'll go as far as to say that. Over-governed by a lot. We need laws. We should have stopped here. We kept going right off the chart. And here's what happened to me. I guess the first building, and I did things with my dad. We were workers. We built the house where I used to live, and it was up the day I got married. We had it up. I mixed the concrete in a mixer, a small mixer, not with a cement truck. And my dad worked until the winter, and then he was tired, and I continued on. It wound up getting plastered walls. I went inside and worked through the winter, and then I guess Easter or so, we moved in. But when I came out here, bought this farm, and I came out here, there was a nice building. It new. I found out later that it had burned down. That's why it was new. The original building burned down. It had a shed dormer on it. It was new. It was like a garage. I looked at that and I said, too good a building to be. And I had to support this whole thing. I wound up having 5 children. So I looked at that and I says, I'll build a garage. And I built a garage first, to put the stuff in the garage. Then getting back to this building, put an apartment in. Didn't bother with, that's going back 50 years ago. Didn't bother hardly with building permits and stuff like that. My opinion of it was, I'll fight the battle the day the battle comes. Just forged ahead and did it. We lived in a land of the free. You can build what you could afford. Can you? No, they're telling you what you're going to build. You're going to build this mansion and everything. That's what they tell you. Maybe if more people thought the way I thought back then, we wouldn't have gotten this badly of being over-governed. And it's real taxes and everything because of it. So anyway, it went on for, now the building was even occupied. It went on for maybe about 6 or 7 years, and I come home from work, and my wife says the building inspector was here today. The day it arrived to fight the battle. I went over to see him. His wife said he's down by the pond feeding the ducks. I walked up to him, shook his hand, introduced myself, who I was, and he said to me, "Do you drink? Let's go in the house and have a drink." When I left, of course, you're going to have to be taxed. We had a black man was the tax person, a gentleman, nice man. And they taxed me, and everything was okay. I was lucky. I was lucky. But then I went another building, and I went another step further. Now I asked this guy what I could do, the building inspector. I asked him, well, you could do this, you could do, why don't you make a gas station? And I built it itself in the building. This was with permits and everything. I'm good. But I made it, and just in case this thing failed, it could become a dwelling. And I was way ahead of my time by a lot. It didn't work, selling and everything from there. So I thought, let's make it into a fella wanted to rent it. Wanted it. Here it is sitting. We live in a land of the free, of course. So, made it into a dwelling. Now, in the meantime, this man who drank a little but was an honorable man, as far as I'm concerned, he was a decent sort of guy. He got stabbed in the back, lost the job, and a new person took over. And when a new person took over, he come down on me like a ton of bricks. We went back to the other building, this building, caught up with me. Bad. I have to get a lawyer. What am I going to have to do? Knock us down? Land of the free we live in. So I get the township lawyer at first. He said, no, I can't represent you. Here's what I'd like you to do, what I'm suggesting for you to do, to go to New Brunswick. I went to New Brunswick. And I met this man. And we had to go to a meeting with the town. And guess what? It was wintertime, and they didn't have a quorum. They didn't have enough. It wasn't in at schools even. It was in almost like a shack, like a shed, Monroe. I've been here almost 50, and it was not even 10 years later, 40 years ago, something like that. They didn't have a quorum. I got to go home and worry for another month. We come there for the meeting the next time, the second one. They didn't have a quorum, didn't have enough people. What was going on? I have no idea. And my lawyer said, one more month and we got him. But I don't know what he's even talking about. I go home and worry for another month. I don't understand what was going on. The third month, the same thing. They don't have enough. 3 months in a row through the winter. Was I that lucky? Or was he doing something? I have no idea. I have no idea. They didn't have enough for a quorum. Now, the 90 days, I guess, had gone by. He says to me, we got him. We got him. I go home and worry for another month. Now, what is that? 4 months I'm laying on a couch, worrying, worried stiff. Now the date comes. They don't have it in the shack. There's something more important, not me, but it's going on. They have it in the school. Oh, all those people are going to be in there and everything, and I got to go. So we go. The building department are all sitting in the front row, waiting there to see me get my lumps. The head guy stabbed the guy in the back. He's in the front row. They're all there. 3 or 4 of them. Well, my lawyer ran to the stage and he leaped. He didn't use the steps. He was a younger man, and not that young, but he leaped to the stage. And he told them what was what. We had won. We won. I don't know how we won, but we won. My God. Oh, but they put me through the mill. Oh, my God. As-built drawings. As-built drawings. The thing is done. Drawings. And everybody, they're manipulating. Whether they get a cut or what they do, they're operating. They're operating. So years and years go by. Years. That one head man, he wanted to be friendly or something. I'd say hello, but of course I didn't trust him. You know. And the culmination of the whole thing at the end, he shot himself in the head on his front lawn. If when we were going through that, when I was so miserable and would go down there and be raked over the coals, if we could look into the future and see what the future had in store for him and me. It wasn't easy for me, but I didn't shoot myself in the head. One heck of a story. One heck of a story. I would presume he was going to prison. He was going to go to prison. And the alternative was what he did. Took his own life. My God, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. On anyone. And I kept it a secret. Kept it a secret for years and years and years. But I'm getting it down. Maybe I probably won't make it public or nothing, but getting it down. It's part of my story. A big part of my story. The other thing, to add to this thing, we were a farm. We grew trees. I worked myself, my sons, killing ourselves. Digging great big trees and everything. Couple of trailer loads going out with trees. We dug the place up. The other man basically grew it. He grew it. I kind of reaped the harvest. The good Lord was good to me and everything, but he'd give a little bit, just enough, not overdoing it. But we had to work for it. We had to work for it. So then eventually, I'm getting farmland assessed. This went on for years, 15, 20 years, being farmland assessed. I guess you get a little break on your taxes. And finally, it peters out. My sons weren't interested in doing this hard work like that. They became electricians. And it petered out. Now I don't deserve farmland assessment anymore. You got to put in every year and everything. I was still selling a little bit, but really, I got old. I didn't deserve it anymore. And that's rightfully so. Now they can go back 3 years. They call it rollback taxes. Rollback taxes. Well, when the amount came due and everything, here's what it amounted to. $46,000 rollback taxes. And at that time, my taxes was a little over $6,000 a quarter. A little over six. For 46 and 6 something. I had to write a check to the Township of Monroe for $52,000 plus. And it's due the next day. And if you don't pay it, they'll start charging you interest. I'm interrupted. So I got interrupted by the telephone. 52,000 something I paid taxes. And here's the point of it. No water. My water. I got the headaches. No sewer. I got the headaches. I got to make police protection. Look at the one video or the robbery. That tells a story. So we get very little. Garbage collection, we pay for it. Where I came from, they they paid for garbage collection. And there was a time when they would clean your septic once a year or something. All we have is they have their hand out for more money. Or they're not satisfied with what they got. They've created this monster. And they want and expect more and more and more. It appears that they'll never be satisfied. They'll never be satisfied. Lincoln said, they've created this machine that's got to be fed. It's got to be fed. We got to keep going like sheep, going down and giving it, paying those taxes to them. Lincoln's words, government of the people, by the people, and for the people, does not apply. It does not apply. There's been too much greed for too long. They're building things that are not needed. Applegarth Road, the senior center here. I'll never go in that senior. I could care less. I don't need no senior centers there. The big high school and all, they delayed it for 5 years. We have to educate our children, but my God, now we have to educate it at my expense, you know? My children didn't get to go to anything in Monroe. None. None of them. When we came, he went to high down, and that didn't work out. We went to vocational school. All of them. The boys. Okay. That's the deal.